ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Family Podcast with your two favourite brothers. Well, three.
Cheese.
Yes. So, welcome. And today we are going to dive into red pill culture.
Bro, I wish I could change the lights and just turn red. Doom, doom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so essentially for people who don't know, I need to read this, innit? Red pill refers to becoming enlightened. Basically, the truth is that the world is run by women and liberals.
Ooh.
That is the truth of our situation. Men don't run anything, men are disempowered. And they use the term blue pill as an insult to anybody who sort of hasn't accepted this truth. Now, this sort of began as a Reddit thread, and then sort of took hold of the culture, innit? Okay. And now you're seeing more red pill content creators. We'll get to some of them.
Yes.
So my first question, innit, like to the room is, why do you think like this red pill ideology has gained so much traction now amongst young men and some women? Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of a girl called Just Pearly Things.
No, I haven't.
You lot are slipping. So she's basically exploded in the last 2 years, innit, as one of the women who are like in the red pill space.
Okay.
Yeah, and she advocates that women basically have a lot of rights in our society, and that men don't, innit, and things are much harder for men. And so as a result, as you can expect, a lot of men like her and her takes. A lot of women can't stand her. But she is a woman in the red pill space, because usually it's men.
Okay.
So yeah, back to my original question. Why do you think it's gained so much traction?
I think because the world has changed.
Agreed.
We've become more materialistic. We've become very equal in what is brought to the so-called quote-unquote table. I think females have been given a voice. And whenever there's any change in dynamic, because let's all be honest, they didn't have a voice before. Like, if you go back through history, they didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
So I think now that they have a voice, whenever you have two voices and those voices don't agree, you're always susceptible to challenge. And I think the ideology before was that women are repressed. And whether I agree with that or not, you know, that's a different question. But the ideology...
Answer the question!
yeah. The ideology that was that women are repressed. But there's never really been a space for men to say that they're oppressed because they were the oppressors. So I think now... Seen as the oppressors, yeah. So now when people have been given equal footing, there's the opportunity for both parties to say that they're oppressed in some way, innit? And I think that now it's easier to get sympathy for something than it is to, like, just take it on the chin. Because you, like, when you get into arguments with people, for example, let's say the argument is financial, you know, it's more sympathetic to kind of just be like, well, I just don't have the money. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, the view that, oh, but you earn more than me often results in, well, then get a better job. Do you get what I'm saying? There's less sympathy when you're going toe-to-toe with someone. There's more sympathy when you kind of just bow out. So I believe the red pill culture came from that ideology that, you know, people will be sympathetic to you if you admit that somebody else kind of runs the world and you're the one being oppressed, not the other way around. And now we can do that because men and females are on an equal footing.
Yeah, I think when I look at the situation, I feel like definitely there's been a switch. And I think it's a switch that some men have been unable to undergo. So back in the days, you had a lot of factory work.
Yeah.
But there was a generation of children who didn't do factory work. they went to school, they learned how to use computers. And as the world changed, the parents who kept their children on farms, factories, they became disenfranchised as the world got more technological.
Okay. Yeah.
I think something similar has happened in this time where women were always seen as the primary caregivers and their dominion was in the home.
Okay.
And all men had to do was put money on the table.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's all you had to do. You did not have to be emotionally available. You didn't have to care about how you looked. You didn't have to help with parenting. Your sole purpose was to put a bag of money on the table and say the mortgage is covered this month. This is the money for shopping. There's petrol in the car, gas if you're American, and that was the sole purpose, to be the breadwinner, to put money into the home and make sure it was taken care of.
Okay.
And I think now, where women have entered the workplace, they have like all of the tools in terms of like the things that they're raised to do, like being compassionate. Because being compassionate in a work scenario can be a good thing, yeah, and it can open a lot of doors for you.
Yeah.
If you can make people feel like you're on their side and show genuine compassion. And also and now you have that, all of their soft skills, should I say, in terms of like being prepared for what mothering requires. And then they've got money now.
And I think one of the main pertinent points is that, you see, when men were providing money, innit, we was just like, all right, we paid the mortgage. This is what's left. Do your magic. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, make it work, innit? So you had different households, like you have now, different incomes in different households.
Yeah.
The difference now is that women could look at that money and be like, wait a minute. First of all, you wasn't able to give me the full amount of the money that you were saving, car, you know, you like to go drinking with your friends and all the rest of it. That's a percentage that is not counted for. But now I can get the same amount of money and know how much money we're really getting. I can up that money, or I could say stagnant on that money, but I know what the money is.
And also, you have high achieving women as well. So I don't know if you know this, but we're now getting to a stage where women are outperforming men academically in a lot of areas, including STEM. Yeah. And what's happening is, as women get higher weight, like they come out of school, they start to acquire higher wages. Yeah. I read somewhere that 90% of women with a degree marry somebody who has higher wages than them. So that displaces young men and men who don't make as much money. And again, all of this can feel like, do you know what, like, what's that word called? Hypergamy is.
I have some understanding about God.
So hypergamy is the idea that a certain group of people have all the spoils.
Yeah.
So in this context, it's that when women, 80% of women attach themselves to 20% of men.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 20% of men have their spoils of almost any woman they want, whereas there's 80% of men who are desperately trying to gain women.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I agree with the idea, but that idea is something that has been really prevalent in the like red pill community.
Okay.
And there's also something called black pill. And when you go full black pill, that is nihilism. So basically, I can't do anything. I am unworthy. That's where you get incels from.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So basically, the idea that I'm so unwanted by females, there's nothing that I can do to change my situation. I can't become rich. I can't change my body. None of it. Because women are a certain way and they only want to go for the top guys.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I can't even believe
It's a
that
horrible-
people exist like that.
Yeah, it's a horrible way to live your life.
Yeah, of course.
Because
I think I'm the prize, bro.
yeah,
What
yeah.
you talk about? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of men do feel that way, like they are catching it.
yeah, of course.
But
I mean, I didn't get to this understanding by myself.
nah.
If man's gonna talk the talk, like I for a long time was told by males and females. Do you know what I'm saying? Which obviously it's nice. It boosts your self esteem, innit? You know, like I agree that not everybody would be agreeable to the fact that I'm the catch, but I'm just not for you. That's no problem. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know, I manage a stable job. Do you get what I'm saying? I live somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's elements in my life where I can say, yo, you know what, not doing too bad. And I find it weird that some men can't even find an iota. Do you get what I'm saying? Of something that they're doing well.
This brings me to my next point, especially about the red pill community. Innit? They center their lives around women. So what you find with a lot of red pill commentators is it's always around dating, yeah, and then it's around why women are unfit for marriage.
Okay.
And those two things like don't exist. Like they can't compute, right? Because what you're saying is like your sole goal is to be with women.
Okay.
But no woman is worth being with.
Yeah, it gets a bit messy, innit?
You know, so that's my main concern, innit? Because if you're trying to give advice, because a lot of the guys who come online and they say, I want to give hope to young men. You don't give hope to young men by saying, you get value by how many women you smash. Right? Because if a person who's like kind of fragile and working their way through it gets rejected by women, that devalues them even further.
Oh, yeah, not true.
So their value has to be rooted in themselves. And so I can't say to somebody like, oh, you're having a hard time, that's because you're not smashing enough women. You can't draw your value intrinsically from other things like that.
It might be true though. Just saying.
No, I think that your success...
I don't think... Yeah,
so I think your success with women is a manifestation of your traits and your competencies.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
But those are things that you've worked on by yourself.
Yeah.
Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, yeah. You don't get the value from smashing women.
Yeah.
But you might be able to tell that you're an absolute failure if you've never smashed.
It's like saying like, raw, the person who...
Unless it was by choice.
Somebody gets value because they go and buy a 50 grand chain.
Not really.
Yeah? Yes and no. Like what we were saying before. Like the reason they're able to buy the chain...
Because they put in the hard work to make it.
It's because they put the hard work in to have the money to buy the chain. Them just having a chain doesn't give them value. Do you feel what I'm saying? So and you can see it because sometimes people go out, they buy expensive chains, and people who don't respect them rob them.
Yeah, of course.
Because they don't value the person who's wearing the chain.
Of course.
Yeah, but some people can go to their hood, whatever, bust down, and everyone's like, yo, bro, like, you're the man. No one lays a hand on them. That's because of the competency of the character.
That's feel what I'm saying? That's because their parents beat them.
Look at this guy.
But anyone who doesn't know what he's talking about, you need to go and watch our episode on corporal punishment and discipline to understand. Yeah,
see?
Man.
Heavyweight plugger.
So
go on.
So obviously, I don't really like to bring his name into it too much because
he has overwhelming.
I feel like everybody's just throwing his name out there for clout. But I don't think we can talk about this space without talking about him.
Indeed.
Because he's like the king of what everybody else is trying to be, right? And that's obviously Andrew Tate.
And he's still alive, innit? Because R.I.P. Kevin Samuels, innit?
Yeah. So Andrew Tate obviously has emerged, and he's being held up as like the red pill Jesus, isn't it?
This is the red pill Jesus.
And so it's real difficult to talk about Andrew Tate because people are so like polarized. Like the people who love him absolutely adore him. Yeah. Like I remember one time this was when he did the grilled with Cheyenne.
Yeah,
Cheyenne, yeah. And I wrote under the thing, bro, this guy's everywhere. And someone put hater. I'm like,
he's got a die-hard fan base.
Yeah,
like it's crazy to see. Like
it's mad. So I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? So a lot of people feel like his views are misogynistic. A lot of people feel like his views are not helpful to the discussions around dating and women, innit?
Do you know what's mad, yeah? There's not many of us, yeah, but I'm probably in the middle with Andrew Tate. You know? I don't agree with everything that he says, but I think that he has some points that are well put together in terms of understanding knowledge and the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I think, yeah? I think he is the materialistic Bruce Lee on steroids. Right?
You gonna have to break that down.
You know why I say that, yeah? Because Bruce Lee, a lot of Bruce Lee's philosophies, yeah, he didn't make them himself. Right? So you know the whole like be like water thing.
Yeah.
Philosophy has been talking about that for ages. He just put it in a way where it was digestible for people to be able to understand. And I think Andrew Tate's like that as well. So a lot of the self-help knowledge that he gives, those self-help knowledge things have been around for years.
Yeah.
But he's just managed to pull it in a package that is interesting for younger people to listen to.
You know what's mad about Andrew Tate? Yeah, is that he has this ability, yeah, to change the way that he thinks, and with the understanding that he is growing as a person. So, like, for example, yeah, I remember I was like, it just comes up in it, like you type in Andrew Tate once and you got like 5 videos. Do you know what I'm saying? And he was talking about someone was given.
You typed in Andrew Tate. Misogynist!
I did. I'll take that.
I mean, he just types it in and it shows up on my phone. Yeah. But, you know, like, I've watched a number of things where he's like, oh, yeah, no, I don't believe that anymore. And it's like, oh, you don't? Well, you like the Pied Piper. You got kids following you everywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so based on your old understanding, these people kind of followed you, but now you've been transformed. And the funny thing is, all the people who follow him have all now been transformed as well. Do you know what I'm saying? And understand the way
that's
that
the thing
so,
about being popular.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, it's interesting because I suppose that Andrew Tate, the one thing that is interesting about Andrew Tate is he kind of admits he's wrong and then says, well, I'm learning from that. And then what do you say about that?
Yeah.
You're not learning.
Because people could say that's a cop-out, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say it's a cop-out, but
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And this is why it's hard to have a conversation about him as a person because everybody's so polarized. Like, if you say that Andrew Tate made a good point, yeah, it's like, what the hell? But I'll give you an example. One of the times he was talking about people pushing agendas in schools and saying... and teaching children things outside of academia, that their parents not only wouldn't teach them, but wouldn't allow them to be taught. They're in their house. And he was saying, you don't get to do that as an academic institution. What you get to do is teach my children math, English, science, PE, all the rest of it. You can have some philosophical discussions based on those subjects, right? But what you're not going to do is trying to indoctrinate children based on what you think is politically correct at the time. An academic institution should actually be devoid of politics. Yeah. Now, that is a position that I agree with. Do you feel what I'm saying? I think you should be an academic institution.
You misogynist!
Hey, listen. What can I say? There's nothing about women in there that I'm talking about.
No, of course,
but again, somebody would say just because I agree with that point of Andrew Tate,
you must
that
be
I'm one,
Tate
some
follower.
kind of disciple, and 2, that like I must agree with everything that
he says.
And that's not true. This is why, but what I wanted to get to is the fact that with Andrew Tate, he's a person who has obviously captured young people's minds.
Yeah.
The question is why? Why do young boys see Andrew Tate and you can say, well, it's materialism. The man's got Bugattis in it, and then you can say, yeah, that's the reason. But that's not the reason. You have to be appealing to something else.
Do you know what I think it is about him? Yeah, he's honest. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is the thing that's a bit weird, isn't it?
But do you think he's honest? Because I don't look at Andrew Tate and think he's honest.
Well, I think
he's a character. But he's done a lot of questionable things that sort of line up.
So I don't think it's necessarily like his lifestyle.
Yeah.
And like how much money he makes, where he got this from and that from is necessarily an honest position. But I think he's honest about what he believes at the time, and he's unapologetic about that honesty. And I think a lot of the time we've had society where people have been scared to step on other people's toes. And even men, a lot of men have been judged for, speaking their mind to women and, women going off crying. And then it's like, oh, my days, and then you're made to feel the bad guy and you should go and console this woman who is helpless and da-da-da-da. And he's kind of changed that narrative. So a lot of men feel like, but we're just being honest. We're just telling you what it is. You said that you want us to be honest with you in relationships. So if we're just down for sex, we're just down for sex. So when I say, I'll get over here, B word, do you get what I'm saying? Get on all fours, yeah. I just want to give it to you. Do you get what I'm saying? 10-10 and da-da-da-da-da. Like, that is a manifestation of honesty that you didn't predict. But it's still what you asked for, And he's very good at doing stuff like that. And therefore, people are like, well, I see your point. You did ask for honesty. Is that not what you asked for? Yes. Did I not give you an honest answer? Yes, but I didn't like it. Well, why didn't you like it? Oh, because it was rude. But that's not what you asked for. You never asked me not to be rude. You asked me to be honest. And then people are like, well, wait a minute. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, well, no human should be treated like that. Okay, well, that wasn't what we discussed. What we discussed was honesty. And those kind of clear-cut explanations for things, people don't like. Because a lot of people say they don't like the middle ground, but the middle ground is the reason why we do things like hold the door open, even though we asked for equality. Do you know what I'm saying? The middle ground is the reason why we apologized, even though the person barged into us. That all those things are the middle ground, and in a lot of Western society, these things are seen as courteous. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think that's why he gets a bad rap, because he literally takes what is said by what is said. He's not necessarily always reading between the lines or being contextual about it. He's just telling you what it is that you asked him to give you, if that makes sense. So if you ask him for his view, he gives you an unfiltered version of his view, an unapologetic version of his view. And that's what young men like. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm agreeable to that, but, they're like, okay, but that's what you asked for. Because, they're very, linear thinking. I think we've had this conversation about men before, Work is work, home is home. Do you know what I'm saying? The emotions of the whole situation in the world very rarely mix for men, We don't come home and be like, oh, we've had a terrible day at work and, start crying. 9 times out of 10, we're like, oh, we had a terrible day at work, but there's other stuff to do. Especially if you live on your own or something like that. You're like, okay, well, the dishes aren't going to clean themselves. No one's preparing me dinner. Like, all right, get to it. I had a terrible day at work, but I got to get to it. And I think because he unveils some of that, people find it interesting. So
I don't know. So for me, I don't. When I look at the community of itself, they're very. This is what men do. This is what women do, innit? And I think to some point I agree in it, but I also think that I'm of the opinion that any healthy relationship is a collaboration. Where you get something out of it and the other person gets something out of it.
That's true.
Now, I spoke about the changes in terms of women being able to enter the workplace, gain money, and have that in their toolbox. And what I feel like is men have not bridged the gap. So men are still thinking about money and money being the answer to all their problems. Yeah. So I think that like men aren't being told like you have to do dishes. I don't think that men are being told that you have to clean your house and clean your room.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't think men are being taught that. You know, and then they're expecting their romantic partners to do all of that stuff when they get into a relationship. There are some men, I've known guys, yeah, who, and obviously this might be an exception to the rule, but I haven't done any reading around it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are men who are in relationships because those partners like just take care of the house, like.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like take care of their yard or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't bridge that gap, yeah, like your romantic life might suffer, and not just your romantic life, bro. Like it's for me. Like I don't necessarily like cooking in it, but when I throw down and I put everything on the plate and all that, I feel like a boss.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I feel like the man.
I love cooking,
Yeah?
so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You know how it makes you feel because you feel like a competent person and you know you're never going to starve a day in your life.
Yeah.
But there's some men who don't know that. Like, they don't know what it feels like to cook their own meals. They don't know what it's like to do a deep clean in a yard. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you see me, this is where what's interesting. I see people like that, yeah, as like, you're not really complete. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't pass that survival test. Like if all the luxuries that you were afforded to you were taken away, you wouldn't be able to cope. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not resourceful. Your money is your resource, and once that becomes, depleted, you no longer have any place in society. And I don't like that. And that's not just for men. That goes for females as well. Like I don't like people who are not self-sustainable.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. Like because you will have a group of boys, yeah, who say like, no, I don't do that. That's the woman's job. Do you feel what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like in that community, it seems like that seems to be their default position.
Okay,
and I think they're missing something. Like I say, not just romantically, because bro, let me tell you something about real life, yeah, because I've been in a relationship for a long time. If you want your woman to love you and adore you, you got to cook for her sometimes. You've got to clean the house sometimes. Bro, yesterday I thought I was a boss. I took all the things out the washing machine, I hung them up, waiting for my wife to come home, give me the sweetness. Oh, did you do the thing? Da, 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 da. Oh, thank you so much, yeah? Boom. Did you take the clothes out the dryer? I'm like, yeah, those were the dirty clothes. Oh. Didn't you realise? Like, the clothes would have been wet if they were thinking, oh yeah. But she was like, but thank you. Anyway. Right? Because women care that you care. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like I don't care what any man that tries to put into your head, yeah. You can have you can take them out, bust them down in it, and that. But if you want to have long term relationships with a woman, you have to care about her.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's true. That's very
her,
true. Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about the red pill community. There's a couple things I don't like. I think that the self-sufficient model, you are alone in this world as a man. You've got to deal with it, you've got to suck it up, and you've got to make yourself better. I love that. That's singing from my hymn book,
Yeah.
But this stuff that relates to women and dating, I think they got it crisscross. Because it's like, okay, you want to be self-sufficient, but you only want to do it in certain areas. Like, you only want to get your money up, but you don't want to be competent in the house. You don't want to be like a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of it is just I feel like a lot of it is grandeur to sleep with women.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't think that's how men and women are supposed to relate in that way. Like, we're supposed to like complement each other. One of the things that the Tate said that I do agree with is, as a man, most things in your life will be better with a woman. You want to take a walk in the park, do it with a woman. 100% better. You want to have a nice night, get dressed up, go on a night out, dinner. 100% better with a woman. You feel what I'm saying? I know some people might disagree with me,
Yeah.
but bro, you go with the right woman, bro. I'm telling you, it makes things better. You know, and so for me, it's the collaboration between man and woman working together, forming a family, taking care of their children, raising those children, and then in your older age, watching it repeat again. You know,
Very idealistic, but yeah.
Yeah, it's idealistic,
Yeah.
of course. You know, but we work to our highest ideals.
Yeah, no, of course.
You know, it's like
And I suppose that's what, you know.
like
That's
when
why
you work out, you think of yourself working out to be the best.
you could be.
Yeah, like imagine you.
But these are the things that keep us from the black pill culture.
Yeah, that's very.
Do you know what I'm saying? These are the things that keep us from black pill culture. Because if you're working out and you feel like if you see yourself at the highest level, then you never need to talk about yourself at the lowest level. Because what you're chasing is to be at the highest level. So you know, like the fact that girls don't like you right now, yeah, that's calm. But when I go to the gym and after I hit a swench workout, you know what I'm saying? Then you know what you're gonna be like, and you become committed to the task in hand. You know, one of the things that's very interesting though. Is I don't know whether you've seen it. There's a clip by Joey Badass, which says that if a woman is with a man who chases his full potential, then she will never be his priority, and he thinks that's a beautiful thing, and females just have to accept it. What do you think about that? Well, what does a room think about that? As you said. Because like their devotion is going to be to their ultimate priority. So let's say that, for example, we're talking about, you know, not being a black pill male or female, and you see yourself, you know, in 5 years as CEO, boss, making, you know, 1.5, you know, K, you know what I'm saying, monthly, you know what I'm saying, we're talking big money, do you know what I'm saying? Like, your commitment is not to your household, then whether your children have eaten, and do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but it is.
You think so?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to find out whether he's married, innit? Or whether he's
Joey.
not.
I don't think Joey's
Because I think it changes upon marriage.
Okay.
So I think a lot of the things that you do, I think if you ask any dad, successful or unsuccessful, they work for their kids to have a better future. And they work, not necessarily, I do agree because
that might be what their highest priority is though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is things come into your life and they change how you view things. So to directly attack the thing that you've said, I think that men have to have intrinsic value, like outside of women. Like this is what we were talking about before. Yeah. And I think that with most men, even though they love their woman, they're focused on other things. They couldn't thrive and survive and do well if they weren't. We could be with our women right now. Yeah? But we're here. Because we want to get this podcast off the ground. You understand what I'm saying? And we have like aspirations that are tied to this and other things that we do that take us out of the home. Like if our primary point was always our women, we couldn't do those things. Do you feel what I'm saying?
True.
And then your women would get bitter with you because you're a lazy bum. You don't do anything. Women are attracted to competency. Like you going out, and that's why your word means a lot to a woman. If you say you're going to do something for a woman and you don't do it, she will lose value in you. Because you don't keep your word. Because you don't show competency. At least that's my opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know why I always say I don't have all the answers.
Catchphrase, insert in the
I can't
catchphrase.
lie, a lot of people be dropping that still.
So yeah, that's my view on that, innit? What I wanted to ask you is, do you think like the emergence of like sort of red pill commentators, is because we no longer have television dads? Because when I was growing up, bro, I'm from England, innit?
Yeah.
But Uncle Phil felt like a someone.
Yeah. You had
feel what I'm
even
saying?
you had like Ricky Lake. Then you had like
Ricky Lake?
Yeah. No, you know. No.
No, I'm talking about like sitcom dads. Like,
Sitcom. Oh, so
Yeah,
like
so like-
thing a Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
yeah. So,
Okay,
like,
okay.
So for me,
I thought you meant like you know them shows that like kind of set the basis of morality.
oh
to
no,
some
no,
degree.
not like that innit? But because I felt like those shows did do that, but I felt like you had examples of like men that were sort of more fleshed out. So,
Okay.
for example, for me, Uncle Phil always felt like a dad figure, innit? Michael Kyle always felt like the dad I wanted to be.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I talk to a lot of peers around my age, they say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Phil felt like a dad, and Michael Kyle felt like the dad you were gonna be.
Yeah.
Like the cool sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, they encompass a whole variety of like emotions and stuff like that. You see Uncle Phil disciplining Will and Carlton. You see him when he's angry. You see him when he's involved with Vivian and the smooching and the you know the
You see the
silky
financial
smooth moves.
competence with Hillary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that you even look at the house that it was set in. You see that he's wealthy. So you see these examples in it of men in your culture.
And he was black as well.
Yeah, and he was black, so that's important for us, innit?
Yeah.
For someone else, it might be like Ray Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like Martin Crane from Frasier.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So but
When you say from Frasier and when you say from Thing,
then
that person, yeah.
Yeah. So you had those kind of TV dads in it that informed the culture.
Yeah.
And now more people are not watching television. The sitcoms are dry anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think you also have life, innit? You realise that, like, if you're at home like Uncle Phil, like, he was at home most of the time.
Yeah, but he's a judge though.
Yeah,
so
but
obviously he was doing work, so you know.
But like, because you, like, listen, yeah, on some of these sitcoms, yeah, I used to think, yo, like, this guy's kind of bready, but how, bro? Do you get what I'm saying? Obviously, I know it doesn't show them go to sleep all the time and go to the toilet and you, like, it's TV, innit?
Yeah.
But, like, bro, like, if you sit at home doing all that stuff like Uncle Phil, bro, you broke. Like, honestly, like, you're very broke. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're broke. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because it is TV. And I suppose, I think this is one of the things, yeah, for me personally in life, yeah, I've always been a bit of a realist, innit? I'm like, how does someone do that? Because I always wanted like a copy and paste method.
Right.
I realised very late, like, not very late, but I realised later in life that, you know, there was no copy and paste method. Do you know what I'm saying? Nobody's formula will apply to your specific life, innit? It may enrich it, but I don't think that, you know, we could just copy and paste each other's formulas and that's what makes us rich. Yeah, exactly.
You can't even do that with a workout plan.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
my workout plan might not work for somebody else, and somebody else's workout plan might not work for me. Like, we're all individuals, so our success is going to be different.
Yeah.
Some people are competent basketball players, they do very well. Some people rugby players, some people are presenters, some people are podcast hosts. Hey. It just depends on your skills, and
I also think we're growing up faster now. I think with the age of technology, with
of course,
the internet.
It's forcing everybody to grow up fast.
Yeah, I think with all of that stuff, we just grow up so fast that we understand things like, you know, Uncle Phil being at home all the time doesn't create money.
We're pessimistic as well.
Oh yeah, we are very, very pessimistic.
Yeah.
But I believe that we've done that to each other as human beings. Yeah. So like this ideology that you have to stay in one workplace, you know, that, you know, because everybody says.
Well, I don't think that's true anymore. See, the thing is, you know, when you were growing up and stuff, the idea was that like you stayed in one job, that job rewarded you for staying on, and there was like some back and forth. Now everyone's like, yo, job is exploitative, this, that, and the other. Like, it's just doing it to exploit your labor when you could be making millions outside of your 9 to 5. And so there's a very like, if I get another contract somewhere else and it's more money, I'm going. You know, there's not that loyalty to staff. So it's both ways, because there's not that loyalty to staff nowadays. It feels like a lot of jobs are trying to squeeze more out of their staff, innit, and give them less.
I think it depends.
Which is why you're seeing. I don't want to go into politics, but that's why you're seeing all this. Like, we've never had strikes like this, innit? And I think it's an example of what's happening. Yeah,
of course.
I think that in it, and so I think that pessimism is just pouring into a lot of things. When you talk about like law enforcement, people don't trust law. People don't trust the education system.
But
People keep saying like,
but I
don't
suppose
go
that's
to
the birth of the red pill culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if we're being honest, you know, we don't have faith in each other. Men don't have faith in women, and women don't have faith in men.
Yeah, it's
Men
sad,
think,
bro.
yeah,
It's sad.
yeah, it's sad. Yeah. Men think that all females want is money. You get what I'm saying? And females think all men want is to control the situation.
And sex.
And sex, yeah. I mean, yeah. So I think we're in a very sticky situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, I reckon all it takes is for people to just bite the bullet. You know, like sometimes you have to move in the direction that you want to go in. So as you were saying, you know, it's very weird to say that I want to marry somebody and I want to have kids, and then every potential opportunity that you have to marry somebody, you basically fob off and say that, you know, women just want your money, so, you know, like you can't trust them and all women are like this. Then who are you going to marry, yourself?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. It's a weird one. Proper weird one.
It is a weird one. Do you think there's a reluctance to believe that men are suffering?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's, like, to turn this racial, I think there's definitely a reluctance to see that black men are suffering. But I think there's even more reluctance to see that men in general are suffering. But I think that's also because of the way that we hold ourselves. But I think it's a bit of a catch-22 because nobody wants a wimp. So if you're always complaining about your situation, then you're not attractive to females. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
to anyone, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a friend that was always calling me and telling me how sad they were, after a while, that the call don't get picked up.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because nobody likes a serial complainer.
Yeah.
But I think that's the way that we're being pushed into. You know, we got issues of our energy. Why? Because of a situation that happened. Do you know what I'm saying? So everyone's like, oh, I don't want to turn my heating on, but it's freezing right now. It's cold, and now you're moaning. Then you're like, oh, I'm at work and it's freezing in my own house. Why do I have to work from home anyway?
I think
now you're moaning.
I think that's a very, like, I can't say UK thing in it because I haven't been Wales, I haven't been to certain places. I've never lived in Scotland. But definitely in England, like, we're very moany.
Can't lie, your posture is kind of calm. I am super slouched.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you're comfortable, yeah.
You mean, bro, this is just how I sit, but I should sit properly, because I'm not trying to get one of them hunchbacks, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so go.
No, so yeah, it's what we do, we inspire each other. Come on. So, yeah, I feel like we're very moany. But part of the reason I feel like we're moany, yeah, is because we're polite. Like, we're too polite.
Yeah.
Like, people bump into lampposts and say, oh, sorry. Just as defaults. You know, because...
No, bro, I've never thought about that. Oh, my days. Say thank you to a lamppost, you know, when you deep it, like, oh, my gosh. What are we becoming, guys?
You know, and so there's this over-politeness in it. And the thing about when you're over-polite, don't say what's on your mind. And when you don't say what's on your mind, it leaks out as moaning. Like, once you get the opportunity to moan, kind of go on, innit?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Even me, sometimes I have to be like, yo, you're moaning a lot, you know. You might need to draw this one back a bit, yeah.
Yeah, and so to bring it back, like, to the question, innit? I feel like men have done such a good job with PR, yeah, in terms of, like, men are supposed to be strong. That everybody believes it. Yeah. And so I know that I really commend the idea that men should start to talk more about how they feel, innit? Because in this culture, it's like everything's a huge parallel, innit? So it's either you're super stoic, and like someone really close to you dies, and you just sit there stern faced and you bear it because that's your burden and you're a man. And that's what you're supposed to do. You bear it so other people can wild out around you.
Yeah.
Or you're a sobbing mess. And you're crying in the bathtub and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't lie. I've been called super stoic.
Yeah, so there's something in between those two things. And that's healthy.
Yeah.
Do you feel what I'm saying? Because I know the stoic man who doesn't let anything out that is drinking himself to death.
Yeah.
Because he don't want to talk about anything.
Yeah.
He don't want to talk about the fact that he lost a parent or he lost a friend, and he doesn't know how to move forward.
I see in my job a lot, like wrong and strong people. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's good for young men to talk
I'm
about
like,
these
dude,
things.
like, man came to see you and do an assessment. You didn't even flush the toilet. You got drink bottles everywhere. Your duvet don't have no cover, and you're telling me
got doo-doo.
Yeah, and it got
Why do it?
Yo, they sound too much similar for me
And
not
then-
to put them together, man.
and then you're telling me that you're all right. You don't need no support, and that I'm all up in your business, bro. You're not doing a good job, my brother. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why we here. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
And I've noticed that about me as well. Like I'm a person who it's very hard for me to ask other people for help. I would rather figure it out, and I would rather figure it out and get it wrong 100 times in it than just to ask for help. But this year I've embraced more asking for help in things that I don't know, and we'll see how it goes, innit?
Yeah.
And that's not, like I say, it's not me breaking down in tears. It doesn't have to be like that, yeah. For some guys, like they might have held so much for so long, bro, that like as soon as somebody like inquires, they make that incision in it. Everything comes out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen this clip. It's going around social media, innit? And this guy's on a podcast, innit? And he's like, no disrespect to your thing, innit? But I've been trying for so long. I've been trying for so long, and then he just like breaks down, innit? And it's mad because I can get that, you know? Like a lot of men actually don't have friends. Do you feel what I'm saying? And they carry all the weight, all of it, for years and years and years, and they don't have a pressure valve, you know. And then they finally open up to a woman or whatever, and then she's like, "You got a man up?"
You know what's mad, about this whole situation? It's funny, cause sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, just to finish, yeah. Or she says like, "You're an emotional gold digger." I never knew this was a term, you know. So an emotional gold digger is a man who doesn't have a friend group to process all of his problems, yeah, and so he makes his partner the sole vent for all of his emotional.
Bro, why does this only apply to men? Because I feel like bare females do that.
Yeah,
and it's something that I've.
But do you think that women do it equally amongst their friend groups and their romantic partner?
I mean, I suppose this is what I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm assuming some of them do, but I'm assuming that some of them don't, because I've always been an advocate. And it's funny because I remember speaking to Mum about this. And I was saying that I feel like no person should just be so focused on their relationship that that's the only thing that exists. And then she was like, no, but she thinks that's great. She thinks, you know, like when you marry, like you have a partner, wherever your partner goes, that's where you go. It cuts out a lot of issues. You don't need to wonder where your significant other is. They're with you.
Sounds like an African woman.
Yeah. Your friends are their friends, and you all.
Because I know like high earning African women.
Yeah.
Who said like they would take a drastic pay cut if their husband was moving somewhere else to get more money.
More money, yeah.
You know, and so maybe that it would be interesting to talk to a woman about that. You know, because it's unthinkable for a man to do that. Well, the men that I know.
But going back to your other point as well, I think I was watching. Was it No Rules that we was watching yesterday? And they were saying, and this was so a joke, what's his name? Damn! Anyway, so basically, they were saying that if you went into a toilet, because someone made this comment in it.
Tigo.
No, but before Tigo, there's another guy.
Specs?
No,
Donny.
No, he's not on No Rules, innit? Okay. He's another guy. He's on Free Shots. But anyway, he was saying, there was this scenario in it that you go into a toilet, you bust a Yeah.
There's no tissue paper.
There's no tissue paper.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah,
Alright,
he's been on the Half Cast
yeah.
podcast as well.
I know his name, but it's just not.
Yeah.
It's not hitting.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So then they were saying, yeah, on No Rules, innit? Like there seems to be a universal language across with men, yeah, where it's like if you walked into the toilet, yeah, and you saw some man, yeah, like washing his ass like a bidet, like but on the sink, innit? Like you'd walk in and be like, what the hell is going on?
Let
Do
him
you get what I'm
land.
saying?
Let him land.
Yeah.
Let him
Yeah,
land,
yeah.
as they say.
But if the brother was like, yo, it's just one of those days, my G. It's having a terrible day.
No. You need to add more context to that because it wasn't a terrible day.
Okay.
As if there's no tissue and he's done the mad thing. He's looked in the bin. There's no tissue. There's no option.
Yeah,
You get it? And
but they also were saying like, I can't remember the white brother on the rules.
Tigo.
Tigo, yeah. So Tigo was saying like, if he was like, he would think that's weird, innit? And he would be on you. But if you just said that he was having like the worst day as a man, yeah, he said he wouldn't stay there, but he'd be like, I'll get you, my bro. Do your thing. And I feel like that's a universal language above, like with men. Like if another man just says, "Oh, man's having a terrible day," we as men understand the burden of, as you said, just get on with your keep it moving, just do your thing. You know, like we understand how draining that can be among men, where you just don't get a break. You seem to be the financial savior. You know, your woman wants to pour out her problems onto you and expects you not necessarily always to solve them, but to listen and be open and available, even sometimes after doing a double shift. You know what I'm saying? Your children need food and she's like, oh, you know, I'm putting this one to bed. Can you make the milk or can you do this? And you're just like, bro, today has been mad.
And then after all that, you got give it a winning.
Yeah. And you're tired now, do you know what I'm saying? And you know, like, there's a stigma.
You gotta give it A-star.
Yeah, exactly. There's a stigma if you don't give the A-star performance or you're done in 10 that, you know. Do you get
I
me?
remember reading this. It's like a, you know what used to be like Cosmopolitan, like those magazines. Yeah. And it was like signs that he's cheating if he doesn't like.
He doesn't give you the good.
Yeah. It's like, what? The brother might be tired, you know.
Word.
So this is a nonsense. Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it? Like, do you get what I'm saying? And I think it's funny, yeah, because as society we kind of make all these rules, yeah, but they're not really tried and tested. Some girls don't even like the Goodwood all the time because fam, like,
I don't know about that.
You don't bro. Like some girls have told, like I ain't.
No, so hold on. There's a difference between Goodwood, yeah, and aggressive wood, innit? And I'd agree with you that
the
some
good
girls,
aggressive wood.
So some girls do not like the aggression.
The good aggressive wood. That's what we're talking about.
Oh.
Good aggressive wood.
Yeah, but that's not what you said.
I'm just clarifying. Good aggressive wood. Do you know what I'm saying? Where a man is doing the dominance thing, but he's giving the girl the good work.
Yeah. I've had girls who said
not that weird James St. Patrick nonsense that they be doing on Power. Do you get what I'm saying? Panning left and panning right.
Television,
yeah,
they can't show.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're going to the aspect if you're going to TV.
Sure.
But yeah, so you know, like, and some girls don't like it. Just like some girls, you know, the understanding as a child, innit, or as a secondary school kid is that, you know, if you got the big things, every girl's gonna be on you. Then you grow up and some girls are like, yo, it's hurting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You deal with life, innit? As you said, life isn't straightforward. Like, there's no one formula for life. So, yeah, fam, I think as a man, innit, trying to do man things, we at least recognize that, yo, it be tough sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if not the whole world accepts that. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think about any of the topics discussed in this show today. Like, share, do what the algorithm likes if you want to see us more in your feed. And until the next time, my name is Sammy.
My name is Don.
And we've been the family.
Bow.